Hari Om. We have seen till the ninth shloka of Bhaja Govindam, and I think the ninth shloka we have beaten pulp out of it. Like 3 weeks continuously we spoke on it. I mean, the beauty of it is that just with those four repetitive words, there is so much conveyed that I personally see it as a very beautiful crux synopsis of spiritual practices, both in the Vyavahara as well as in the Adhyatma. Pravritti is outside, Nivritti is inside. Both phases this shloka caters to. So it talks about how does one need to realign their life if we are aiming at having the experience of both peace as well as joy for both ourselves as well as for the people around us. That's an integral part. What will happen if people around you are not at peace and not joyous? There will be a pressure on you. Imagine if your spouse, children, they are not happy, they are not at peace. What will happen to you? Will you be at peace? Supposing your children are hungry. By the time Balavihar is done, they are hungry and I don't know, raising children you should have been. As the hunger increases, anger also, irritation also increases. So they are half hungry and half angry. So hangry. So in that situation, you have to drive them back, and while you are driving, each one in their own different direction, will you be at peace? Impossible. So if we care for our peace and joy, we should be able to contribute to the peace and joy of everybody around us. There are easy methods. You can download one bottle of Benadryl into each one, and it will be knocked out for at least couple of hours. You will find some peace. But that's not a permanent solution. That's not a viable solution. So those factors that affect us, impact us, distract us, take us away from our own peace, those are discussed in detail. There are various that are already mentioned. There is Punarukti. Usually in Shastra, Punarukti meaning repetition. Wherever there is a repetition, they say avoid it as much as possible. Like even when you are speaking, I am told there is Toastmasters. Has anybody done that? Okay, 2, 3 of you. So Toastmasters, when you go there, as you are speaking, if you are fumbling for words, you are repeating some cliches, you know what I mean. When they repeat it too many times, you feel not very focused to pay attention to that kind of a discourse or a dialogue. In fact, I am told to make people be aware of that, they have certain punishments, or they have to pay for every ums and ahs and repetition. of a cliche, they have to pay a quarter. Did you have such? Oh, they keep a count only. No, that doesn't make it interesting. When there is a financial burden, then people will remember it. More effective. Now imagine in the scripture, whether it is a concept, whether it is a word, whether it is an instruction, it is given once. Esha adeshaha, esha upadeshaha, it is given once and it is not repeated. There are certain portions where the repetition is seen. They said in those modules where you see this repetition, they said, this is not dosha, this is not a flaw that it has been repeated that many times, it is abhyasa. Like every mantra we say 3 times, at the end of the mantra we say 3 times Shanti. It's a repetition. But it is not a dosha, it is not a flaw in the system of communication, but it is an abhyasa. Abhyasa meaning to make it a practice. Similarly, the concepts here seem to be repeated in a different depth or a different angle of perspective. As to where is it that our mind usually gets locked in or caught up with that which we have to be awareful of. So we will continue with the 10th shloka. There are some beautiful facts that have been raised as objections. See, there is one mode which is called question. Whenever there is a question asked, you have to answer. Objection need not be answered. It is for us to pause, ponder and rethink. So this is more of an objection rather than a question. So please repeat after me. Vayasi gate kaha kama vikaraha shushke nire kaha kasaraha क्षीणे वित्ते कः परिवारः ज्ञाते तत्त्वे कः संसारः. Kaha means where. So don't immediately raise this is something that has to be answered. No, these are not questions to be answered. These are objections which we have to think through and ponder upon. So he says, Vayasi gate kaha kama vikaraha. As we progress from brahmacharya to grihastha to vanaprastha to sannyasa, which is how we should progress. When we were young, our perspective towards certain things where we were attached, as we grow older, our attachment towards that, our desire to hold on to, our desire to cling on to those, it weakens. When you see your children, how many of you have kids who are 5th grade and below? So 5th grade and below, if you have 2 or more kids, needless to say, the kinds of friends that you have will also have a similar age group of kids. When you have, say, a party or a potluck or a festival, something, you're gathering everyone. So all these kids, at least in north, there is a basement. So you send all the kids into the basement and have all the toys. It's like a trauma for the guy that is living in that house. Why? Now all these kids will come and they will take my toys. If you just stand by there and watch what is actually happening, instead of being a parent, which I get ample opportunity to be just standing there and watching things. Because as a parent, you feel like jumping in and yelling at them and to stop things. No, just step back and watch what exactly is happening there. There is one famous or one important toy in the middle. This kid wants that toy. Who? The one who owns it. It's my toy. Whether it is a Spider-Man or a Iron Man, with those movable parts. The more the movable parts, the more pricey it seems. What is those? The car which has movable parts. Transformers. That one. Where it turns into a kind of a being and then a truck and whatever. It's a prized possession, this fellow. Everybody, every other kid that comes in wants that. So as in the parties, all men are in one segment, all women are in one segment, the kids are in one segment, and you get their wireless message. You understand their wireless message? क्या करते हैं? हाँ. Thank you. We just got the sample. They scream. And I feel that parents have a very good, keen fine tuning to their kind of scream. To their kind of GPS system, which reveals where exactly they are. So, as many screams that you hear, that many parents, that many mothers will rush down. So, what is the scene down there? 2-3 fellows have ganged up and that fellow is screaming and he doesn't want to give, they want to snatch. What do? There are Kauravas, Pandavas, you become the Krishna. There is a halo, there is a bright light behind you and you become the Krishna and then you say, Beta, aisa nahi karte. You should share. When you go to their house, you want them to welcome you, right? You want them to play with you, right? They're not going to take it. That fellow looks at it, how do you know? That's what that look means. How do you know? No, I'm promising you. They will not take it. It is just for next. Share. Now those other kids are also like, if the prominence for this toy is gone, whatever is the next toy that this fellow will take, that will be the next focus. Another 15-20 minutes, another scream. They're timing it with my, okay. See, as we decipher and dissect this scene, from this side to that side, everybody is having a smile on their face. Why? You recognize it and you don't feel pressured by it. We literally have grown vertically and horizontally. But that mindset has not, that is not something that we have outgrown. That toy has become replaceable. Instead of that toy, there is a bigger thing that has come in its place. But the sense of attachment, the sense of ownership, the sense of clinging on. Every time I see Star Trek, how many of you have watched Star Trek? Avid fans? No, not avid fans. You have watched. There is a species of them who are called Klingons. Right. So this is, I feel like all of us belong to that species. One thing or the other we are constantly clinging on to. At that time, at that age, it was toys. Now what are we clinging on to? Then comes the age where we are clinging on to gadgets. Then we are clinging on to houses. I think it was last week I was saying, gated community. Even a prison is a gated community. Isn't it? A house. And to add to that, I think the American real estate has woken up to the Indian nuances. So recently I saw somewhere they are using Vastu. North and eastern facing houses. They are pricier than the rest of the houses. See, one phase of it is that they are trying to attract you by giving you your speciality which you want, and it is discounted only for you. When they are becoming pricey, that means they have seen a viable market which can be tapped into. Are they selling such? Advertising? Vastu, north facing, east facing houses, premium. So house becomes something that we are at around 45-50 लोगों को कुछ हो जाता है. Suddenly I start seeing sports cars at 45-50. It is called MLC, midlife crisis. कुछ तो करना है. When we were young, we used to do Antyakshari. No, that is too boring. So कुछ करना है. So go buy. So the thing is, it has been constantly shifting from one vastu to the other, one place to the other, one environment to the other. There comes an age wherein most of it, that which we have been aiming for, is all around us. It doesn't interest us anymore. सब कुछ है. It's like that Diwar scene. Do you know the Diwar scene, the movie scene that I'm talking about? There is a dialogue between Amitabh Bachchan and Shashi Kapoor. याद आया कुछ? हाँ, मेरे पास गाड़ी है, बंगला है, शोहरत है, 2 पीस सूट है। तेरे पास क्या है? मेरे पास मां है। You come to that point wherein you have everything. You have best of the cars, you have best of the gadgets, best of the tools. उसके बाद the interest in it goes away. वयसि गते कहा काम विकारः. It doesn't interest anymore. शुष्के नीरे कह कासारः. You call a mass of water as a lake or a pond as long as there is water in it. But if the water is evaporated, you would say there was a pond, it is not a pond anymore. See, as we mature, as we grow, are we still attached to those toys? वो पतली सी एक लड़की का एक खिलौना होता है, the thin girl. I'm trying to remember that. I've कभी खेला नहीं है उससे. Barbie, हाँ, thank you. Barbie, then there is Superman, Spider-Man, I don't know what all kinds of man. Those toys, are you still attached to those? Supposing a kid comes and it is your toy, or at least you had played, you had grown up playing with that toy. There is a group of kids. Are you same anxious like, these kids will come and play with my toys and destroy all of it? You in fact have matured wherein you would give those toys to those kids and play with them and make them play with it. You are not pensive, you are not anxious about it. You in fact are loving sharing it. You are not attached to it. When I said there is detachment, it doesn't mean that you are averse to it. It is there. Even if it is not there, it doesn't make a dent. Am I getting across? Because when most of us, when we think that we are having, vairagya doesn't mean that, as soon as you see a toy or a Barbie and you start freaking out, oh my God, what should I do? It's there, it's there. It's not there, it's not there. You don't get disturbed, distracted, or it doesn't impact you from within. Right? You have outgrown it. Hopefully you have outgrown it. Because sometimes what I say and what I see, I saw in somebody's house or a car, somebody was driving me and that Amma went into the car and was patting the dog doll which was in the back seat. And she was like, Amma, I'll come in my car. Hopefully we have outgrown these things. There comes a point wherein we see futility in all that which we have earned. It's all around us. And then we look at each other, sab kuch to hai. That which I have been aiming for, almost everything is around. There is that outlook towards all this, that which is material, and at that point you have reached to that maturity wherein it is priceless. That dispassion, nobody can snatch it away. The kind of secure environment that you have reached, mature environment that you have reached, paripakvata as it is called, it's okay, है तो है, नहीं है तो नहीं है, ठीक है यार. What if it is snatched away from you? ठीक है, दूसरा आ जाएगा, उसमें क्या है? There is no, it's not born out of fear and anxiety. वयसि गते कह काम विकारः शुष्के नीरे कह कासारः. And then he humorously asks, क्षीणे वित्ते कह परिवारः. Now family and relatives, they're quite relative. The more you have wealth and resources, the more people would come and claim, मैं भी तुम्हारा रिश्तेदार हूँ, I am your relative. We see the stories of all these people that get the lottery ticket, like 30 million or whatever they win, and suddenly everybody is trying to say, hey, you are my friend, do you remember me? You are my relative, do you remember me? Why? They want a share. Wherever there is the center of earning, power comes in there, because decision making happens at that point. Many times when people have spoken to those who retire, the crux of the fear of retiring is at the point wherein that focus of the family, that I have been the center of that authority where money, finance, security and decision making that comes in, that key corner is not going to be me further moving forward. It's going to shift. What did he use? Change of guard. The new generation will come. Change of guard will happen. And what happens to, as the change of guard happens? When you see at least when we become old, we should not be in that condition. I am not trying to denounce that phase of life, but at least we learn from it. Every house there will be a senior who will constantly be asking, कौन हो, कहाँ जा रहे हो, क्यों जा रहे हो, कब वापस आओगे? Who are you? Why are you going out? Which direction are you going? When will you come back? They want all kinds of information. And what does the next generation do? How do they respond to them? They don't even pay attention. And then they start feeling bad, sad, and maybe sometimes mad. Nobody talks to me, nobody tells me anything. Kshine vitte kaha parivaraha. You are not that center of decision making anymore. And when that decision making has changed the guard, because that is where the family circle now expands itself. In that, where there is wealth, there is decision making, therefore there is power in there. It moves. Kshine vitte kaha parivara. Now these go in cyclical order. That's how life continues. But if we want to get out of this cycle, then he says the last question in this shloka, Jnate tatve kaha samsaraha. Once you understand, assimilate and experience this knowledge, this wisdom, kaha samsaraha. Where is the possibility of samsara? Now, what does samsara mean? We keep using that word quite regularly, right? What does samsara mean according to you? Moh Maya, samsara. Anybody? The world, that which you live in. Okay. A wisdom from this side. Family, relation, relatives. Okay. संसार किसे कहते हैं? All attachments. So if it is all attachments, those who are attached is called a samsari. Who is a samsari? The one who is constantly saying some kind of sorry. Some sorry. Sara. Sara means what? If you are a Kannada speaking person, Saru. Sara is different from Saru. Sara means essence, essence of something. Samyak Sara, Samyak Saram meaning a comprehensive essence of that particular padartha, that particular whatever it is. That is called the Samyak Sara. We are searching for that essence which can fulfill us. We want to experience that which can bring fulfillment within us. What is the last mantra that we chant before we conclude the session? Purnamadaha, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnamevava Sishyate. Purnamadaha, Purnamidam. That which we recognize as that meaning that divine, that Bhagwan, that Ishvara that we refer to, is complete unto itself, Purnam. Purnamidam. That which we recognize as this world, this is also Purnam, is also complete unto itself. This is the reason in the next part of the mantra. Purnasya Purnam Adaya, from infinite. When you subtract something, that which you are taking out of infinity has to be infinite. If you can subtract finitude from infinite, then that which you thought as infinite was not infinity to begin with. Should I repeat it? If you are supposed to subtract, if you can, okay, it's a supposition, if you can subtract something from infinite, अब इस टेबल से मैंने ये बोतल को निकाल दिया. From this I have taken it out. So imagine infinite. You take something out of that infinite. That which you have taken out of infinite also has to be infinite, because you can never subtract finitude from infinite. If you ever can subtract finitude from infinity, that which from which you considered as infinite that you have subtracted was never infinite to begin with. Is this clear? Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam eva avasishyate, because there can only be that infinite complete unto itself alone. It is to that fulfillment, that infinite, that we are seeking and searching. But where are we seeking and searching that? In fulfillment of desires, in material benefit, in wealth, in securities. The earlier three lines, that it which they were pointing towards. We with our own experience have seen that they cannot give us that fulfillment. Have we not? We have fulfilled so many millions of desires. As I fulfill one desire, I am already scheming and planning for fulfilling the next few desires. Ask any mother whether she likes weekends. क्यों बताऊं? वीकेंड पसंद है कि वीकडेज पसंद है? Why? What happens on weekends? As you are finishing breakfast, as the last fellow, that fellow must be the Kumbhakarna of the family. As that fellow has woken up late and that fellow is finishing up his or her breakfast, you are already cleaning up the first round of your dishwasher so that you can now prep for lunch. As lunch is being served, you are already soaking for dinner. What? Who will feed them in between? भाई स्नैक छे, you have snack section. You are soaking and getting it ready for snacks. As the snacks thing get into the utensils get into the dishwasher, sometimes the kids are like, especially in the growth spurt time, they are the first ones to eat. By the time the last one is finishing eating, they are already done. Come back, Mama, kuch hai khane ke liye? I've seen the mothers do this. Le, kha, mere ko kha. Have you seen that? I have seen that many times. मैं अकेली बची हूं, अब मेरे को भी खा ले, जा खा. food doesn't give us that fulfillment. Even if it does, it is tatkalika, it is only temporary. Material, we have it in plenty, we have so much that we don't know what to do with it. You know, when I visit Houston, I go to one place. He must be in his late 70s now. I've known him for last 20 plus years. He has a eclectic collection of all possible LPs, audio cassettes, digital versions of all things that have been produced in Hindi, Carnatic, Hindustani, instrumental, vocal since the 1950s. He has similarly with jazz, blues, greens, blacks, I don't know what else, all kinds of music genres that you can think of. And he has some of the best, amazing systems that he plays it on also. Very few times he has taken me to see all of that collection. 80% of his collection is yet to open the label on the top of it. Kab sunoge? When you have gathered all of this, you at least have a moment to sit down, cherish, enjoy all of it. And he is like, 80 के बाद आराम से बैठ के करूंगा. क्या गारंटी क्या है? You have everything, you have a whole elaborate thing that you have spread. The choicest of foods, the choicest of material, the choicest of interactions with those materials, everything is there. Now you have so much of it that it doesn't matter anymore. And nowadays you get mangoes all throughout the year. Have you observed that? You go to the market, you get mangoes throughout the year. Why? There is summer somewhere on the globe. If you don't get the Indian variety, then you will get the African variety. If you don't get the African, you get the Mexican. If you don't get the Mexican, you will get the Australian. Continuously 24 hours kele milte hain. Mangoes you get. And you think of the material, and the material is available. You reach to that point where you can even afford it. But is there that fulfillment that I am searching and seeking, does it promise it? In fact, what is a new fad? To go into an environment wherein all of this material can be given up at the gate. Why? Detox. कर रहे हैं कि नहीं ऐसे? People are doing that. Oh, I had this amazing, 10 days where I went in through this detox. No cell phone, nothing. Cell phone बंद करने के लिए तो कहीं और जाना पड़ता है. It was such simple food. सिंपल फूड खाने के लिए डिटॉक्स के लिए जाना पड़ता है. Am I getting across? we have seen through the end of all the material that can be gained, gathered, cherished. Has it cut it? Has it given us that satisfaction, that contentment that which we are talking of? We are no more anxious with regards to those things. There is a sense of security that, yes, been there, done that, seen it. But the amount of satisfaction is not the same. The contentment is not there. And I have experienced it. Isn't it? Vacation. कैंकून गए हैं, साइबेरिया गए हैं, चिंचपोकली गए हैं, वो कहाँ है पता नहीं है, पर जहाँ पे भी हो, wherever it is, been there, done that, seen it all, seen the tropical best, seen the there is this, Minneapolis. I don't know why people live there. They invited me in the peak of their winters. Peak of their winters. As I get down into that city, it was minus 47 Fahrenheit, and the wind chill makes it feel like minus 65. लोग बड़े अतरंगी है वहां पे. When it hits 32, or what is the freezing point? 30 ki 32? Okay, it's a freezing point. Shorts पहन के निकलता है, it's warm today. So they said, Swamiji, I'll show you, there is this border between Canada and US. There is a frozen lake. It's something to see. What? Skiing something. Snowmobile. Thank you. तो snowmobile पे बिठा के ले गए. After going there, my condition was also like that only. I pull out my phone. It is inside 3 layers, 3 or 4 layers. I pull that out. The phone has shut down itself, and when I'm trying to turn it on, it says, too cold to turn on. I've seen that happen in the heat. Too hot to turn on. It's too cold to turn on. ऐसा भी होता है. We have gone to places where we cannot, imagine going, and we have gone there, made that also enjoyable. Everything has been experienced. But that lack, that absence of fulfillment can be seen in the eyes. सब कुछ है पर कुछ तो मिसिंग है. The same shloka I would have spoken in a different language. But here, at least in this part of the world, to this segment of Hindus that I am addressing, haven't we seen it all? सब कुछ तो देख ही लिया. Wealth, stock, securities. Have we hit that point wherein where can I find that which gives me an unshakable platform of peace and joy? In Mundakopanishad, there is a beautiful scene the Sishya, Mundaka, the one who has shaven their head with a tuft, with a choti, with dried twigs in their hands, they go to the Guru and say, we are ready for knowledge. But this extra emphasis is given on the dried twigs that they are carrying, a bundle of dried twigs. So some interpreters said, maybe the Guru Kula needs dry wood to run their kitchen or run their havan, so they are taking it. The more significance to that is, it is indicative of that individual's mindset. If you offer wood that has any kind of sapidity in it, it will smoke the place up. But if it is dry, when you throw it into the fire, it is consumed without even leaving a trace of any smoke. So the student is saying, I have seen the entire world of experience. Pariksha lokan karmachitan nirvedamayan nasti akritaha kritena. Been there, done that, seen through everything. I don't claim to be having, great dispassion, but I can tell you for sure there is nothing out there that can distract me any further. I mean, I have gone through everything. There is nothing that can distract me. And yet I am trying to find something that can give me that sense of fulfillment. So the question that the student is asking, the one who has seen everything, experienced everything, he is asking the teacher, is there something in this scripture which can tell me that this sense of satisfaction is truly a gainable situation, or is it something that which we are imagining that there is out there something that can give us this? If there is so, can you point at how to reach there, how to experience that? One has to reach to that point that I have seen. There is nothing more that it can offer. To such one, when jnana is given, it's not like one of the lists of my to-do that I meditate also. When to such a qualified one, a simple pointer is given, that is sufficient. एक बार दिखा दो तो काफी है. So I asked this question to many. Coming to this Saket, supposing you are taking President George Bush freeway and you have to take Preston exit. From wherever you are coming, you have to take that Preston exit, take Preston and reach here. How many times is it okay for you to miss that exit? As you are driving, you see that Preston exit pass. I said, darn it, I missed it again. How many times is it okay for you? How many times will you allow yourself to forget about it, miss it, and then go around, call it, and then come back? एक बार, दो बार, तीन बार, एक बार. No, I will not judge you. You can be liberal, as much liberal as. What will you tell that person who has missed it more than once? those who said ek bar, what will you call that person who has missed it more than once? नहीं, मैं बोलने के लिए पूछ रहा हूं, आप तो जिप लगा के बैठे हुए हैं. Distracted. Therefore, Bhaja Govindam, Adi Shankaracharya ji calls such people who miss their exits all through their life as Moodhamate. We have reached to that point and still miss the exit. एक बार नहीं, दो बार नहीं, हर दिन. Every single day, that is the experience. Therefore, what does he say in the first shloka? Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja. That this jnana once understood is the one that assuredly brings that fulfillment. The point is, are we ready for it? It's not that the spiritual knowledge and the spiritual process is difficult. It is our unpreparedness makes it that difficult. Because if we are distracted, we are going to miss the exit. And you say, I have tried it, Swamiji, it doesn't work. Drishti kahan thi? That makes the difference. So what are the things that distract us? The next one is going to be as straightforward as possible, without any sugar coating. So come prepared for it. And because it is so straightforward, Bhaja Govindam is also called Moha Mudgara. It is like a boxing bout straight into the face. As the Adi Shankaracharya ji, imagine that he is wearing boxing gloves and is smacking into our face. So he talks about it there. We will see it next week. See you all. Hari Om. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shant Shant Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.